Hello everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today it's one of my replays and I'm in the Atlanta, a tier 7 US cruiser. I'm on a map north, it's a standard battle, it's a tier 8 battle, and it has 2 submarines in the carrier. So, well, if the matchmaker really hates you, then it really hates you. But, might be able to actually shoot this Fiji here and do my first damage. Maybe. Now, I was briefly detected, and I know that there was a sub around here earlier, but maybe it has left. Like, basically I just saw a ping go for the Scharnhorst, and the Scharnhorst fled. But the sub could have stayed around here, or it could have left, we don't know. I'm not getting detected, which means if a sub is here, it's diving, and well, I mean, it's not like we can know anything about this anyway. Now, I am trying to shoot this hood. I do have a hydro running, so not that it would detect the sub unless it's unless it's at periscope depth at the surface. Anyway, maybe I'll get some more damage into this Fiji that has left its smoke screen. Overall, our sub is somewhere in the midst of the enemies. Here there is a fight in the 9-10 line, and I mean, it's a standard battle, you know. There isn't an objective to fight for, so people are all over the place doing nothing. Now the question is, what am I gonna do now? So my original plan here was to go closer to the 9-10 line and join the skirmish over there. But then that sub was spotted in the center. And now I'm going there. Now this seems strange because technically I have no chance against the sub if the sub knows what it's doing. But I'm just hoping on the fact that the sub might be inexperienced. Which is the only hope you have. Let's be honest. I mean, the thing is, right, if I go closer here towards the 9-10 line, it doesn't really have the best positions for an Atlanta anyway. There is also a Baltimore pushing in that could trade me even if I manage to get a good place behind the island. And I managed to get myself detected, which could be uncomfortable, but the hood is not looking at me, so I should be fine. And I'm unspotted again. Well, that hood is pretty low, and it is still on fire, so there we go. Now, of course, I have no idea what that sub is doing. I'm partially concerned that the sub is going to try to push in here and cap us or something, although we always have a carrier who could stop that. Because the sub can only cap when it's on the surface, and then it can actually be spotted. But, you know, I mean, Atlanta life is hard with the little range that you have, especially in a standard battle where there isn't even an objective to fight over. So we're gonna try to make the most of it, and, well, we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. I mean, obviously I wouldn't have picked that replay if I just die here. Well, there is the sub, and don't have a hydro or anything ready. Sub could just dive and disappear. There is the ping. Now I do have a damage con now. Now the next encounter is going to be a problem. That San Diego is also a problem because it can spot me for the sub, and the sub can't just dive. Well, the sub could just dive. It's so this is one of those sub that doesn't believe in diving, which makes it a lot easier to take out. I mean, it was at periscope depth, right? But if it would have just dived deeper, like, I mean, my hydro is now ready, right? Hydro diving sub within 2 kilometers. So, not that much. It could have just, after its initial launch, dived, turned away, and there was no way for me to ever detect it or do anything about it. And it could have used San Diego spotting to harass me and sink. But it didn't. And now, this San Diego is all alone. Now let's see if we can do something about this. Now I have some help, right? The Jedi is behind me in his Om Nom Nom. And yeah, there we go. There was also a Shan host helping apparently through those islands. Meanwhile, there is a Cossack here that is getting too close to the island for me to help. I mean, I got one hit in, right? But the closer it gets to the island, the less likely I can lob shells here. I could have raided it, but that wasn't really necessary because it was detected anyway. And unfortunately, we've lost Viper, but I can now hunt down this Cossack because, well, it's currently getting hydroed. And if it gets too far away, I still have the radar. It's also pretty low. Now I just have to avoid the torps, which is easy thanks to the island. And then we'll have no more Cossack. There we go. Cossack has been taken out. And now the planes arrive. Of course the planes arrive. Lots of birds around here, I guess. So, the planes were not super effective. That's a good start. Now, the only thing that makes this game here playable currently is that neither the subs nor the carrier are particularly competent. Which allows me to get away with that. Now, all enemy ships are in the 9-10 line except for the sub and the carrier, which means I'm gonna go fight the sub and the carrier. My radar is running, but the sub's just diving. My hydra is running, not too long. And see, here's the thing, right? Now the sub can just sit on the surface and I can do nothing because the radar is over. Or the carrier can spot for the sub, then the sub doesn't even have to sit on the surface. And the sub can just keep pinging me. And it doesn't even have to be careful because I don't have range depth charges. I'm not actually sure what the Asturias has. Didn't pay any attention if I saw any planes coming from there. Which means I'm getting harassed by the carrier. I have to try to dodge that. And meanwhile the sub can just torp me to its heart's content. I'm a bit surprised that there aren't any more torps from the sub just yet. Not sure what exactly that sub is doing. But yeah, I can see, yeah, I'm spotted by the sub, and, you know, there is much I can do in a... Okay, so is it targeting the Asturias? Because, no, wait, that ping was way too late. Now I can just basically shoot the water. I'm detected, right? Not by the planes, but by the sub, which means it can't be completely underwater, which means I can technically hit it. But, you know, just shooting the... white arrow doesn't do much. Now I did have a damage con, which allowed me to dodge those torps. Unfortunately, I'm turning just perfect for the carrier, which is going to hurt, right? You wanna be like, yeah, okay, that worked better than expected. Like against dive bombers, you don't wanna be nose in against them, because then you're like in their entire ellipse, right? But anyway. I'm still alive, somewhat. The sub's still spawning me. In 15 seconds, I can try if the sub's on the surface enough to get raided. But you know, it can just dive. And I have quite a bit of shell travel time in the Atlanta, which means even if I manage to raid it, right, I'm not gonna get a lot of shells into it before the sub dives completely. Meanwhile, the carrier coming in for another drop. And at least I was somewhat reasonably angled there. Now I can shoot the carrier. I mean, the carrier is a bit broadside, but I don't trust my armor piercing, especially at this range. If I got closer, probably. But, oh, I found the sub with a hydro. Now, of course, if it dives more, I won't be able to hydro it anymore, because I can only hydro it at 2 kilometers when it dives, and that's exactly what it's doing. Now, what the sub obviously needs to do is it needs to go full speed and it needs to turn, so I can't easily catch up with it. I mean, I don't know in which direction it's going right now. Well, okay, there is an oil spill, but good damage con there. The problem, of course, is, right, there is also the carrier, so I wanna get closer to this sub. My only way of damaging this sub is to be right on top of it with depth charges. But there is the carrier coming for me. Now, I'm not angled against the planes because I'm trying to go after the sub. If I had to turn left to angle against the planes, it would have taken me further away from the sub, therefore stopping my ability to actually damage that sub. So I've decided I'll take the fish in exchange for depth charging a sub. And I got the sub, so at least there is that. Now, it's only the carrier. Now, meanwhile, this game is looking pretty good for our team, mind you. I can't just keep shooting this carrier. Is it even moving forward? Is it moving backward? I could use my torps to check, I suppose. But I think it has stopped moving altogether. Once again, I don't trust my armor piercing at this range. I'm doing some pretty good damage with high explosives, some pretty consistently. It's one of those things where you could try armor piercing, but I'm not willing to take that risk, and now I'm dead. Well, nothing I could have done there, I suppose. The only thing that remains is to watch Jedi hunt down that carrier. The carrier has been spotted once more, and Jedi is now engaging it. I mean, the Om Nom Nom is not really a very good ship, but it will do the job. It will do the job. So, I mean, this game turned out relatively well experience-wise, certainly, and I did get to sink 2 subs and did a lot of damage in the carrier, but it's just like, those are so annoying to deal with, and the only reason why this worked is because those were all very inexperienced submarines and a very inexperienced carrier, right? Like, if they had known what to do, I would have been so dead. But hey, they didn't, so I had a good Atlanta game, I guess. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this, and I'll see you next time.